and they want to negotiate adding in a section for ag workers. Now, that's a program that would bring in 410,000 agriculture workers each year, not just 400,000 a year, but it add another 410,000 each year, and it goes up 10% for the next year if they reach the cap. That's very troubling to me. By the way, that grants amnesty to the illegal workers that are in the country today. I think it requires them to go back and do a touchback and then come back in again, but that's amnesty. And then also it adds 40,000 workers into the food processing, where we've never allowed that before. And so, I mean, I've got them in my neighborhood. We're surrounded by meat and meat packing plants, and they intentionally build these plants. And when I ask them 3 years before the plant's online, where are you going to get your labor? They look at each other and say, well, Somali. And I say, well, Somali Muslims, will they cut pork? They look at each other and said, well, we don't know. So I talked to Keith Ellison about that, who would be the lead Muslim in Congress. And in a long conversation, here's what I discerned. And that is that they have to go to the imam to get a special dispensation to be allowed to handle pork. But the rationale is that it's infidels that are eating this pork. They're not eating it. So as long as they're preparing this pork for infidels, it helps send them to hell, and it must make Allah happy.
Jeez.
I don't want people doing my pork that won't eat it, let alone
that think that you're infidels.
Yeah.